Hi, folks, and welcome. Wow, a lot of people here. It's been quite a long time since I've been on stage, so bear with me. Need to catch my breath for a second. Thank you. Thanks, Dorota. But yeah, actually, it's a little bit like Little Mario from the early 1990s. I'm a big fan of automation and any tool that makes my life easier. And at the same time, I'm overwhelmed by the incredible pace of all this innovation around us. The hype around AI can be a lot. And sometimes it feels like we're being pushed into a world where humans are becoming secondary players.
We are.
So all the claims and headlines around AI remind me of the automation hype from some years ago. Remember? Back then, we heard a lot about how automation would solve all our problems, especially the testing and quality problems, right? And we were told that automation would improve quality, it would fix testing, and even replace manual testers. Lucky me, I used to work in test automation at that time. Although I have to say, it was kind of a low-code, no-code automation. But still, I was on the automation side, you know? I was bringing value because I automated stuff. No one ever asked how meaningful the automation I did was, but hey, automation first. But seriously, were the so-called manual testers actually replaced? Not really. So I'd say let's take a closer look. If AI actually improves quality, and if automation now, with the help of AI, finally fixes our testing, and most importantly, if soon, we all can spend our days playing Mario Kart because AI takes care of our job. The 2024 DORA report shows that AI is being used a lot in coding. So about 67% said that it actually helps improve code quality. And they say that it's not only making the code cleaner, it also simplifies complex parts, and it creates better documentation. In addition, it seems like it speeds up code reviews and approvals. That sounds pretty cool. But here's the catch. Just because reviews are faster doesn't always mean they are better. So it might be that teams rely a little bit too much on AI and miss important details. So the report also points out that it's still kind of a question mark when it comes to AI's real impact on code quality. Now to something surprising from the DORA report. It turns out the more teams use AI, the worse their delivery performance gets. And that's pretty unexpected because since what we've just heard before, at least it looks like it helps with code quality, but it speeds up reviews, approvals, creates somehow better documentations. So what the report found out is that for every 25% jump in AI use, throughput drops by 1.5% and stability decreases by 7.2%. So what's going on? So one reason could be that AI speeds up the code generation so much that teams end up with bigger and riskier changes. And that goes against DORA's best practice of keeping batch sizes small. So, surprise, surprise, AI is powerful, but it's definitely not a magic fix for everything. You still need to stick to the fundamentals. And that brings me to my favorite fundamental topic, the definition of quality. I usually get called into a team or a project when testing and quality aren't as expected. And then people assume I'm going to fix their testing, or better to say, their testing process, including automation, and now, of course, with the help of AI. And most important for them is that we're going to automate it. Whatever it is, maybe AI will tell us. And I don't do that. Well, at least that's not the first thing I look into. The first thing I do is I ask them, what is quality? In your context, what is quality for your product? And then usually two things happen. So first, people are super confused because I don't start with test automation. I don't even start with testing. And then in some of the faces, I can see what the? I thought she takes care about testing, and now she's asking all the crazy things about quality. And then second, they come up with things like, what kind of question is that? What is quality? Isn't that obvious? It should work as expected. So they talk about functionality. And that's completely normal. Most organizations focus only on the tip of the iceberg. So aspects like functionality and maybe performance, and that's usually about it. But quality is so much more than that. And it is influenced by a lot of factors, like requirements. How do they come to your development team? Are they clearly defined? Does everybody know what to do? Are they realistic? And what processes do you follow in your organization, and how is your whole organization set up? And of course, the culture in your organization. So how is it to work there? Do people feel safe? And all these elements form the foundation of a high-quality product. And without a decent understanding of all these factors, it's, I don't want to say impossible, but it's definitely very challenging to achieve true quality. Another crucial aspect for quality is knowing why you're doing what you're doing. So a lot of teams, they love to talk about the what and the how. So what fancy tools we want to use and how they will improve everything. And excited by all the possibilities, we often tend to forget the why, the purpose. Why are we doing what we're doing? What is the problem we are trying to solve? Why are we automating? And what's the purpose of using AI? When we know that, when we know our purpose, we can start thinking about our strategy. So how? How are we going to implement our purpose? And following that, we should think about the what. So what concrete actions are we taking to implement our strategy and so our purpose? And these actions could be automating tests, that could be using AI in development, automated pipeline checks, and so on. But without a clear purpose and strategy, the best automation, the fanciest AI, whatnot, will most likely only lead to more problems than solutions. And now, what about the second claim, the whole automation fixes testing idea? Come on, what a broken promise. Sure, automation can solve some problems, but also this is not a magic fix. For instance, if your tests focus on the wrong use case, automating them just means you're doing the wrong thing faster. Congratulations. And now you might say, but wait, AI can help with this. And yeah, I agree, it can help somehow a little bit here and there. But let's face it, it still struggles a lot with complex situations. And exploratory testing is a great example here, because that's where human intuition and creativity really shine. Because the AI models, they can only go as far as they've been trained on. And when something new pops up, they often can't handle it. Another thing I see a lot, and with which no tool can help you, is lack of ownership for quality. So still today, the burden of being responsible for quality is placed on individuals, often testers. And that's so wrong. Sure, testers can help find errors, but they cannot be responsible for the entire product's quality. That's the responsibility of every single team member working on that product. Needless to say, this includes developers, product owners, business analysts, designers, architects, everyone you have on your team. And when you foster a culture of shared responsibility, then you can ensure that quality is integrated into every aspect of your development process. And now, what about the third claim of humans being replaced? So I'd say before we push the panic button, let's take a step back and look at history. So remember the computers of the 1950s and 60s, or even way back during the Industrial Revolution with the steam engine. These technologies, they did not wipe out all the jobs, but yes, they completely transformed them. And the same goes for AI and automation. They change how work looks like, and that, most probably, forever. But what will not change is the need for communication and cooperation. And now you might say, but Pia, wait a sec. When we automate our processes, we don't need to talk that much to each other, so no more misunderstandings, problem solved. Yeah, that's one approach. And please go ahead, give it a try. I wish you all the best. However, experience shows something different. So it turns out that good communication and cooperation are at the heart of any successful team. And if you have ever played the game Overcooked, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So in this game, players have to work together to serve and to prep and serve meals. And if they don't, total chaos, honestly. Fires everywhere, orders piling up, pure madness. And as a player in that game, you are so freaking stressed out. And the same happens at work. Whether you are following new work principles or sticking with more traditional setups, open communication and cross-functional collaboration are essential. Because here's the thing, no amount of AI or automation can replace the need for people to actually work well together. And now to the most important reason why we cannot be replaced, and that is our sense for ethics and morality. So bias in AI isn't just a small problem, and it shows up a lot in areas like law enforcement, healthcare, finance, and of course, social media. For instance, facial recognition tools often show a strong racial and gender bias, and they work much worse for Black women compared to all other groups. And in finance, AI systems for loan approvals have been found to reject black applicants more often than white applicants, even when they have the same risk factors. And in insurance, surprise, surprise, sometimes people, women, pay higher premiums than men, even when they have the same risk factors. And all this shows, and the list could, continue even more, but all of this shows why it is so important to constantly check and improve our AI systems. We have to make sure that they are fair and don't end up making existing biases worse. So as we can see, both AI and automation have their limits, and they heavily rely on the quality of their inputs. In addition, AI struggles with understanding complex context, and it can make biased decisions. Not mentioning the need to regularly check the accuracy and relevance of test cases and scripts. And maintenance is another important consideration. So AI models need to be retrained and validated regularly. And as hopefully all of us know, automated tests need to be updated frequently in order to reflect changes in the system. And all of these ongoing tasks are essential to maintain the effectiveness of both AI and automation. So now what? AI and automation are here to stay, and yes, they will continue to evolve. The important thing is to use the tools carefully and with a clear purpose. So how do we move forward from here? So the idea is really to find out where AI and automation can really make a difference. And one possibility is smart capability expansion. While preparing for this talk, I took some time to reflect on my own capabilities, and I even did so during a conversation with ChatGPT. And I started with, I thought about something I'm really good at. So the stuff I could teach others. And I said to ChatGPT, my superpower is tackling quality as a whole, not only testing. And it replied, quite politely and thoughtfully, I think, yeah, it's a great mindset. I thought, that sounds promising, so let's go ahead. And I thought about something I'm good at, but I still like a second opinion on. So I said, I'm good at creating meaningful QA strategies and test designs. And ChatGPT replied, feel free to share your strategy or design and I'll review it. I can provide feedback. Sounds cool, I thought, and then I decided to be totally honest with my new AI friend. And I said, yeah, I'm not good at writing automation scripts. My code lacks structure and cleanness. And ChatGPT responded, would you like to share one of your scripts? I can suggest improvements. Isn't that nice? No judgment, no, why can't you code? And by the way, we don't need you if you can't code. Just helpful advice. So I thought, okay, cool. And now to something I have no clue about. And I said, I love to learn new languages. How about French? And it replied, are you a complete beginner or do you already know some French? I can help with pronunciation, grammar, common phrases, or even casual conversation practice. Isn't it amazing? It's like AI instantly knows what role to take. Pretty cool, I think. So what else can our artificial friends do for us? Well, they can support our creative thinking process, and I actually used that to put this talk together. So I brainstormed with AI about how to structure things and what visuals to use, and that was super helpful especially since I work solo, so there is no one around to ask for quick feedback. So AI helped to shorten my feedback process. And by using AI and automation, we can also further enhance our technical quality gates. So AI tools can learn about our system and then automatically improve our pipelines. And that's not only pretty cool, I think it also frees up both human and machine resources, reduces the room for error, and it enables further parallelization. So obviously, there is great potential here, but it is really important to use all these tools thoughtfully. So to wrap things up, while both AI and automation definitely have brought huge advancements, they can't replace human intelligence. AI has its limitations like a lack of creativity, understanding of context, and the ability to make ethical decisions, which is why we are so important. So to move forward, we need to start by clearly defining what quality means and understanding the issues at hand before jumping to solutions. We also need to build ownership, encourage collaboration, and keep communication open. It's all about combining the unique strengths of both humans and machines. And when we use AI and automation thoughtfully, we can enhance our skills and build a more balanced and effective tech ecosystem. So cheers to human-driven intelligence.